Ford makes some amazing SUVs that have true off-road prowess, like the Bronco Sport, one of the best off-road vehicles in its class, especially when opting for the off-road package, and I love that bull bar. But maybe this isn't good enough for you. Well, Ford's got your back. They have the Bronco. Unlike the Bronco Sport, the Bronco is a true truck-based SUV, not built on car-based unibody architecture, built on true body and frame truck-based architecture. This thing is one of the best out-of-the-box off-road vehicles you can buy, right up there with the Jeep Wrangler, one of its direct competitors. But this Bronco is kind of a little bit more still geared towards on-road driving. Maybe this isn't cutting the mustard for you. You want to do some serious rock crawling. Well, then you got to check out the Badlands version with the amazing Sasquatch package. Hi, this is Joe from Way Scarff Ford, and today we're going to talk about this 2026 Bronco Badlands with the Sasquatch package. Let's dive in. Loved by the automotive press, one of my favorite automotive publications, Car and Driver magazine. They have a CD rating, 10 out of 10 being the best. The Bronco for 2026 gets a 9.5 out of 10. And they said it actually has a better ride on the highway than the Wrangler, one of its arch nemesises. And don't accuse me of poo-pooing the other brand. It's Car and Driver that said this. You can check yourself on there. You can go look yourself. The Sasquatch package, it gives you some amazing off-road hardware. For one, you have some of the largest diameter tires that you'll find on a production vehicle you can drive off the lot. Not too long ago, you'd have to go into the aftermarket to get tires this big. So you can get the Bronco in a two-door version or four-door version. The two-door version is a little bit better off-road with its shorter wheelbase, but most people opt for the four-door one like this one. It's a little bit more family-friendly, a little bit more space for cargo, a little bit better for everyday driving. The longer wheelbase is gonna give it a better ride on the highway and stuff like that. And this one has a beautiful interior. You could almost call this like a luxury SUV, a luxury off-road SUV. You can be out in the wilderness in complete comfort in this Bronco Badlands. Lots of cargo space back here, and you can fold down those seats, and you can also take off the top and the doors. You can get some aftermarket like bimini tops and stuff like that. So in the summertime, you can remove the hard top and you have a nice convertible. This checks off a lot of boxes. It makes a great everyday commuter vehicle. You can tow up to 3,500 pounds. It can take you to some amazing places off-road, and it's also a convertible to enjoy in the summertime. If you do decide to take off the doors, we have these bags right here to actually even put them in. Ground clearance is amazing, of course, with the Bronco with the Sasquatch package. This one has rock rails and a very sophisticated off-road suspension. There are two engines available in the regular Bronco. Now talking about the Raptor, you can get a 2.3-liter turbocharged four-cylinder engine, or you can get the larger V6. This pumps out close to 330 horsepower, enough to rocket this to 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds. It's actually pretty quick, and it actually has an amazing on-road ride. Again, don't take my word for it. Read some automotive press reviews of the Bronco. They say this thing drives a lot better than it should for a vehicle like this on the highway. So even if you'll only 5% of the time going off-road, you're gonna love driving this on-road. With this big cushy suspension and these big wheels, uneven pavement, potholes, rutted roads are gonna get soaked up like nothing, which in a regular car might jar your kidneys. Nice upscale interior. Any trim of the Broncos, any of these trims, the most basic, the most loaded, they're all nice, they all look good. You don't feel like you're getting a cheap, strippy vehicle, and they're all capable of going off-road. If you're not into rock crawling, that regular one right there will do trails perfectly fine. You don't need to necessarily get the Sasquatch package to enjoy off-roading in a vehicle like this. They're all very capable. We have heated seats, heated steering wheel, dual zone auto climate control, wireless charging pad, USB and USB-C to charge your phone, 10-speed automatic transmission. We have this rotary dial right here to operate different drive modes. And then you have these push buttons to put it in different four-wheel drive settings. Of course, it's gonna have four-wheel drive auto, low range. If you hit this button right here, this gives you trail control. It's like cruise control for going off-road. So you can set a nice, comfortable speed, 2 miles an hour. The vehicle is just gonna crawl right along on those trails, and you can focus on driving. You don't have to worry about braking and modulating the throttle. You can focus on off-roading and placing the vehicle right where it needs to go. This has a huge infotainment screen with navigation, 360 around view camera. So that button right there, that is your stabilizer disconnect. Then we have a front and rear locking differentials, and then you can kind of do tank turns in this thing, so it will actually break the wheels on one side, obviously not in the pavement. You do this in the dirt or gravel, and it'll spin the vehicle around really quickly in a small area, small diameter, great for turning around on trails. You even have a mount right here for an action camera. Great sounding B&O audio system. We have these nice auxiliary switches if you want to add driving lights, things like that. Then we have this rotary dial that you can twist around. G.O.A.T. might stand for greatest of all time. You could say that, but actually stands for go over any terrain. So you twist it around. We have different driving profiles, normal, slippery, and then the gauge cluster might change its display. It might pop it into four-wheel drive, might shut off the traction control, depending on which drive mode you have selected. So you have slippery, eco, sport, off-road. You can see there, the stabilizer bar is disconnected. Don't go over 20 miles an hour. Lock the differential, shut off the traction control, which is preferable in off-road driving situations. You can see you got the stabilizer bar, front stabilizer bar disconnected, rear diff locked. Then there's a Baja mode for high-speed off-road driving. And of course, rock crawl for the real technical stuff. So I mentioned a lot of the automotive press says that the Bronco has amazing off-road rides better than the Wrangler on the highway. So what's the magic behind the Bronco that's different than its arch nemesis, the Wrangler, that makes it so much better? Well, here's a little clue. This is the biggest difference. If we look right here, we can see that the Wrangler has a solid front axle, which some hardcore off-road enthusiasts say it has a lot of advantages. But the Bronco is still amazing off-road, right up there with the Wrangler. But as we see here, we don't have a solid front axle. We have an independent front suspension. I'm not gonna get into all the physics and reasons why an independent front suspension is gonna have a better on-road ride and handling than a solid front axle. But believe me, it makes a big difference, and that's the advantage that the Bronco has. I'm Joe, we're from Way Scarff Ford, in business since 1922, over 100 years. We sell new Fords, new Isuzus, and a very wide variety of premium vehicles. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.